all letting our hair down, and Jack was like, man, let's just go play this like we just jamming. And actually, I had the opportunity to perform this on Tiny Desk with the group Clipse. I actually got to play for the first time on a Tiny Desk itself. I love Mitch Mitchell's drumming. Somebody had a position on the team, he was a quarterback. It makes you want to learn how to be a drummer, to me. Hey, my name is Darryl Jones. Welcome to my space. You may have heard some of my work with the one and only Jack White of the White Stripes. Been touring with him for over a decade. Before that, I played with a lot of hip hop groups from Slum Village, rest in peace Jay Dilla, Black Milk. Also in the band with the legendary Peak Rock, produced from New York. Yo, look at this kit. As you can see, I like to do things a little bit different. This is the Ruzik So Hot kit. And actually, Ruzik is my record label, Ruzik Records. The collaboration with DW PDP, Darryl Jones, a New Yorker, and it's been custom with a company I work with, Snow Milk, out of New York. One of the people, when they come in the room, they may not know who's playing, but when they see the angles, they're like, okay, we know who's playing. One of my drums that look cool, even without me being on it. This logo right here is vinyl with my face in the middle. It's actually a nod to old school drummers that I looked up to, Buddy Rich, Gene Krupa, Philly Joe Jones. They all had drums angled, but I wanted to slope mine the other way, you know what I'm saying? It ties into one of my favorite genres, hip hop. Man, big fan. One of the things that I really like about hip hop was just the fashion. What I would be doing if I wasn't a drummer, I would be a fashionista modeling on stage. I didn't even have to hear the music. I just like how people dress, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted my drum kit to reflect that. That they say image is everything, and I know it was all of them, they had an identity. Like Michael Jackson had, you know, the glitter gloves, Prince had the stilettos, EPMD, they had the Kangol hats. One of my favorite tracks that I played with Jack White and recorded with him, the track was inspired by MC Lyte, Cha Cha Cha. I remember him saying, hey, y'all remember that song, Cha Cha Cha? He brought it into the studio. He was like, I want to make something like this. And we just went and recorded our own version. It was really cool. I really enjoyed that session. Jack is a hip hop connoisseur, and we all have a similar taste in music from Wu-Tang Clan, 90s hip hop. So it was really cool that he wanted to do something for a rock album that was inspired by hip hop. What I like about Jack is he liked musicians to be present, not flying in sounds. We recording everything at the same time, and it was really cool. I've been playing with Jack and working with him for over a decade, so it's not like somebody I'm working with for the first time. Sometimes he's playing something that we never heard, and we just gotta roll with him. We don't have a set list, but that actually happens when you're jamming out. But I made a conscious decision to respect Meg's beats or whoever played on those records we were playing, because I know that's what the audience want to hear. And I would just try to add in a little flair every now and again. But for the most part, I try to respect the original drummer beat, whatever it was, because that's what, you know, made the White Stripes the Stripes, you know what I'm saying? So the next track we're gonna do is called Don't Hurt Yourself by the one and only Beyonce, produced by Jack White. It's a producer named Timberland. He had a certain style, slow grooves, that felt like the approach. Man, it's really important to me because I had the opportunity to perform this during the pandemic on SNL. I never forget that day. My phone was going crazy. People that I've saved on my phone, like drummers and different people that I met that I never even talked to, and I've never experienced that in my life. We all letting our hair down, and Jack was like, man, let's just go play this like we're just jamming. the magic just took over. So I learned self-taught. I learned how to play by ear. Started playing in church. My mom and dad are both choir directors and musical directors. So there was always a segment where people would worship, like praise dance. And there was this like fast metal dancey type of beat that we had to learn. If you couldn't play that, the next drummer was waiting to slide you off because they can play it. So it was really important to be able to play shouting music and praise music because that was like a big part of the service. Back then, it was about playing pocket. House music is this repetitious groove, doots, 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 doots. So that's the gospel that I grew up on, just playing these repetitious grooves. You just stayed in a pocket, you did not move. Sex Machine by James Brown, rest in peace. Some of my favorite work that Clyde Stubblefield played. It's not easy beat to play, but he played it, and I'm definitely trying to continue the legacy and try to play it in my own way. I can never be Clyde or Jabo.
Get on up like a sex machine. Get on up. Get up. Get on up. Stay on the scene. Get on up like a sex machine. Get on up. Wait a minute.
The first time I heard this track is really crazy because I grew up Pentecostal, which meaning super strict Christian background where we were told listen to secular music was a no-no. My friends, they would talk about it. I would hear it like somewhere. I was like, man, what's that? And I was like, man, I want to be down too. I want to be excited too. There's many variations of hip hop. You know, hip hop has grown, there's trap, but boom bap, which results from producer sampling Clyde Stubblefield, like a certain era of funky drummers. But yeah, this song was very important to me. Or it's like a swung. So if I'm getting ready to perform a gig and I just want to have like a quick little rehearsal to remember, I would just play a 2-on-4 beat on the pad. So it kind of gives you that loopy feel and that little accent. That's what makes the loop come around with, you know what I'm saying? So that steals that loop back on that one. You hear Bootsy Collins and George Clinton. A lot of people talk about the one, even James Brown. So it's very powerful. When that loop come back around, it's strong on the one. Boom. Those hip hop breaks, everything is not always at the same level. Jabo and Clyde, they were the kings of that, like the ghost notes. But yeah, just listening to those little details can really make or break that break you're trying to play. So when I'm learning a new song, I would air drum it, or I would sing it out. Like I listen to it so much where I can just start singing the beat. If you can sing it, you can play it. Every time I hear it, it sounds like it just came out yesterday. One of my favorite beats that came out, produced by Pharrell. It's iconic, and it features a drummer. It's all drums. You know, something that you can play without even having a drum kit. You can use a table or whatever.
Grinding, you know what I keep in a lining. Better stay in line when you see it like me shining. Grinding, you know what I keep in a lining. Better stay in line when you see it like me shining.
And actually, I had the opportunity to perform this on Tiny Desk with the group Clips. It was really dope because I actually got to play for the first time on a Tiny Desk itself.
Bass like that, Jack.
And I remember when this came out, it was nothing that sounded like it. Playing this in school, some people that would play it using their hands, some people use pencils and books. I heard that they made it just stacking them playing on the lockers, but they all worked. It didn't matter how you did it. It was a community beat that everybody can play together, and it was just sounding massive. It always brought joy. So anybody that's trying to play this song, don't play it at the tempo. Slow it way down because it's a lot of notes. Take each part, separate them, even if it's just a clap starting with the claps or the kick drum. I love Mitch Mitchell's drumming because he reminds me of a jazz drummer, the way that he approaches tunes with the dynamics, the phrasing, the finessing. And then when it's time to rock out, you're just going to play hard, aggressive. And I just like his touch and his approach. Somebody had a position on the team, he was a quarterback. It makes you want to learn how to be a drummer, to me. The track that's up next is Little Miss Lover by Jimi Hendrix, rest in peace. Classic drum beat that's been sampled by many. One of my favorite Tribe Called Quest songs, Scenario.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
And also it inspired a groove that I played with a group that I'm in called 13, Salute to Pharaoh Monch. It's a track called Fight, featuring Cypress Hill. Little Miss Lover inspired the groove that I played on that track.
Now I don't know what you've been told, but it sounds satanic to me. Bodies left cold in the street to die, and all the children in misery. And I said,
One of my favorite breaks of all time. Top tip from drummers would be to respect your elders and practice make perfect.